Hey, Keith Townsend from the CTO Advisor. NetApp is getting killed. Like in the financial rags, they've been called a dinosaur. They're saying that basically NetApp doesn't have any new ideas. If you listen to me the past couple of years, that kind of doesn't align with what I've been saying. So what gives? Am I wrong? Is NetApp a dinosaur? Is the financial analyst wrong and NetApp is a blazing cloud native company? Or the third option, is NetApp just too early? Either way, it translates to being wrong. If you're too early and you introduce a technology that customers aren't ready for, aren't buying, you know what, you can still go out of business. So what's the deal? What is it that NetApp isn't conveying in their message that the financial guys are calling them a dinosaur? Versus me saying that NetApp is one of the more forward-thinking, larger storage solution providers. Well, let's talk about the future of the enterprise data market. The data center isn't going anywhere. We know that. People are pulling traditional workloads off of public cloud and putting them back in the data center because the economics make more sense having those data sets on-prem, or you're going into a situation where VMware is putting a traditional model of data center delivery services in the public cloud. There is an appetite for traditional data center services. But public cloud is still growing. Amazon is a behemoth that's steadily growing. They're coming on-prem. That won't stop. That model of compute is going to continue to be consumed. You end up with this need for hybrid data. Ability to access data both on-prem and in the cloud. Today, with the model that most people are familiar with, it's a either-or conversation. I either have data stored on my enterprise storage arrays, whether that's HCI, NetApp, Hadoop, really doesn't matter. It's on-prem. I have workloads in the cloud, and I have data sets in the cloud. I'll put big data lakes in the cloud. I try not to move that because data has gravity, and getting it out of the cloud is way more expensive than getting it in the cloud. So what's the solution? NetApp developed this concept of the data fabric. And before we get to the data fabric, let's talk about what do people do today? Today, we put data sets in colos that are equally close to my data center as they are to the public cloud. So I can read and write data out of AWS, Azure, Google Compute, basically at the same cost across clouds. And I can still have that access to that data from my private data center. I put storage arrays in the colos, or I consume the data via a third party such as Faction, NetApp, HPE, Dell EMC. They all have these, what I'll call fog layer compute options. So if I have this colo option, why do I need the data fabric? Well, I'm accessing the data via completely different methods, whether it's objects, block, file, etc. It doesn't matter. I have a different way of managing this, and this. The NetApp data fabric is an idea, a concept, a vision that you contract with NetApp, and NetApp basically makes all of this simple. You write data to NetApp's data fabric, it figures out where to put it. Ideal situation. However, NetApp isn't there from a complete vision. No one is. This is NetApp's forward thinking. They have components of this in their HCI solution, in their traditional storage arrays. They have components of this inside of AWS, Azure, and I think Google Compute. They obviously have this solution inside of colos. However, it hasn't coalesced completely yet. There are some customers taking advantage to some aspects of this vision today, but let's get back to NetApp's problem. Same problem that I have when I go out into the market, which is when I go to talk to customers about just this layer, I get blank stares. Customers haven't really mapped or wrapped their heads around the concept of this fog layer. They're still very much either putting data on-prem or creating these data lakes in the cloud and dealing with the egress charges and data flows and security, uneven security policies, etc. So customers just don't get it. And my guess, I haven't talked to a NetApp sales engineer, but if they're going out talking to customers about the data fabric, customers are either not ready or not getting it. So I think the argument can be made that NetApp is too early. How early? I don't know. Dell EMC just announced their cloud services that's competing vision to data fabric. HPE has been doing their solutions for a little while and partnering with companies. VMware partners with Faction for their VMware Cloud on AWS solution. So customers are starting to warm to the idea. Does NetApp really have an early mover advantage where they can leapfrog HPE, Pure, and Dell EMC? Or have they kind of bet too early and they're just too early to the market? Time will tell. I'm interested to know what you think. Is this do you agree? Is this the future of storage in the enterprise? What's an alternative if not this? And do you think NetApp is a dinosaur? Is it just the idea of ONTAP everywhere is a broken model and this data fabric model is, vaporware? I don't think it is. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Comment on the video, whether you're watching this on YouTube, LinkedIn, like the video, thumbs up. Follow me on your platform of choice, whether it's LinkedIn or YouTube. You can find me on the web at CTO Advisor as well, on Twitter to have this conversation. Talk to you next, CTO Dose.